5 years ago today, the deadliest and most destructive fire in state history, turning day into night.
We have passed by hundreds of homes burning, as well as businesses.
Thousands ran, causing traffic jams.
We're all dropping down into 2 lanes here.
Many leaving with nothing but the clothes on their backs.
We're here in the Walmart parking lot on grass in a tent.
85 people died. More than 11,000 homes destroyed.
It literally looked like a bomb went off.
PG&E equipment sparked the fire, pleading guilty to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter.
Having pleaded violation of Penal Code Section 192B.
5 years later, survivors are forging different paths after an event that changed communities forever.
Thank you for joining us. This is To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. It was an apocalyptic scene in Butte County just 5 years ago. The months and years that followed brought heartbreak, anger, PTSD, emotional and physical distress. The time has also shown how resilient people are. Tonight, we're going in depth, showing you what recovery and moving forward looks like. We start with Becca Habegger in Paradise today as people paid respects to those who lost their lives.
The mood was both celebratory and somber here in the town of Paradise, which boasted a population of more than 26,000 before the campfire. Now that number is closer to 9,300, the mayor says, but it is growing. And this day marked an opportunity to celebrate the rebuilding that has been happening over the past 5 years, as well as mark the lives of the 85 who died in the campfire.
More than 100 people gathered at Paradise Community Park Wednesday morning for a 5-year memorial event where the crowd observed 85 seconds of silence. 1 second for each life lost. Lori and John Mannanen are campfire survivors. They took this video on November 8th, 2018, the day the campfire destroyed most of the town of Paradise.
That's behind our neighbor's house that's fighting the fire.
They had been clearing brush around their home in the years leading up to the campfire and credit that and their staying to fight with hoses with saving their house and 3 of their neighbors' houses.
And it's very important to have everything in your lives ready to go even before the problem shows up.
They put a copy of this video in the time capsule dedicated Wednesday morning to be revisited 20 years from now. Later, across town at the Campfire Pet Memorial in Billy Park, people were remembering other lives lost. Heidi Johnston placed a rock for her cat, Irma, who went missing in the fire.
I just put the year she was born and the year I believe she perished. So it's a good thing to do because it gives you some closure.
She and her husband also lost their home, but they decided to rebuild. Driving along Skyway through the heart of Paradise, signs of life are everywhere. Construction, community, empty lots next to rebuilt homes. A town determined to recover, driven by hope.
We're setting the bar for how you recover from a disaster like this.
Melissa Schuster is a former Paradise Council member and is now working to bring Hope Plaza to life at the corner of Skyway and Foster Road. Here on this 5-year remembrance, people left their mark and notes of encouragement.
The mayor says at any given time, there are about 500 homes in the process of being rebuilt. He's looking forward to what the next 5 years of recovery will bring.
And that was our Becca Habegger reporting. Investigative reporter Brandon Ritteman was among ABC 10's crew on the ground when the campfire raced through Paradise. 5 years later, Brandon is back in Paradise to continue to tell survivor stories. Brandon joins us right now. Brandon, what has it been like to see this community come back together?
It's just unbelievable, Alex. There's been so much joy, and I really didn't expect that coming up here this week, but people are really coming together and lifting each other up in a very real way, and that's despite the fact that they're surrounded by reminders. I mean, there's damage all over this town. You can see it wherever you go. Empty lots are the prevailing feature. The homes, the debris has been scraped away down to the earth like this. You can see some signs of rebuilding. There are occasionally, lots that are under development or have been built, but the fact is that the town's only about a third of the way back to recovery if you go by the numbers. The problem is the numbers just don't tell this story. The campfire destroyed 14,000 family homes in and around Paradise. 5 years later, Sam Gronseth is finally finishing rebuilding his.
I figured I would probably be in my house by now. I'm not, but you know, it's close.
Sam's new house is 90% done, standing right where his old house burned down. For now, though, he sleeps in here.
I have been in the trailer for, just about 4 years.
The fire burned all his mementos, his books, his favorite musical instruments, but just like everyone who lived here November 8th, 2018, Sam had to grieve so much more than just things.
I'd say the number one thing that is a loss is the community. Whereas there were 300 people within a half mile here, now there are maybe 75.
These days, about half the people building in Paradise are newcomers. The rest lived here before it all burned.
Yeah, this is Hilltop Diner. Pretty good place to eat.
Woody Culleton was one of the first to rebuild.
I texted you this morning at 4 o'clock. It's been that way for 5 years. I don't sleep. I sleep 3 to 4 hours.
For some, PTSD makes it hard to stay asleep. The brain turns hypervigilant, geared to stay awake and working, ready to survive the next sudden catastrophe.
No, get out of your cars!
Trauma also pushed people to stay away.
I know of half a dozen people that moved away, bought homes in other states, and have come back.
Are we gonna make it alive to Chico?
Time can heal, but it can't heal everything. Many survivors are simply priced out of Paradise. They need their settlement money from the company that sparked the campfire, pg&e.
The way that the pg&e monies have been distributed is tragic in a lot of ways.
The power company pleaded guilty to 85 felony charges for recklessly starting this fire, but pg&e also used federal bankruptcy protection to escape paying the full cost of the damage.
What would it look like today if pg&e had just made the decision that we're going to take care of everything and pay 100% of everyone's damage?
There would be less trailers in town. There would be more people in town.
More of your friends would be here.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't got their money for pg&e yet.
The more I stayed here, I saw all the rebuilding, and it just made me want to stay.
The people of Paradise, Concow, and Magalia didn't have a choice. They didn't deserve this. 85 of them died in the campfire. More died after, grief-stricken. But up on the ridge today, you'll find people who choose to be here.
I'm trying to not let the things that I lost take away my joy. So it's, being alive, making it out of the fire.
All right, so awesome to be here, and thanks for coming out on a Monday.
They choose not just to survive, but to help each other make it.
We're all gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine.
The campfire scattered tens of thousands of survivors. Whether they choose to rebuild here or just stop by for a visit, the rebirth of this community on the ridge is an invitation for all of them to come home. And as we're back up here, people are really celebrating what they do have, what they have accomplished in the last 5 years. They'd like this community to be further along in the recovery than it is. They're going to miss people, of course, who haven't been able to make it back up here. But, every time a new restaurant opens or a new store opens its doors, people really come together and rally, because it's just that one more reminder that we're getting that much closer to normalcy, to having the community be functional again. And that's something that has been very slow to develop over the last 5 years, but means just so much to the people here. Alex.
Brandon, you reported on the Camp Fire the day it happened. What's it been like for you returning to Paradise this week for the 5-year mark?
Yeah, this fire changed my life. Pedro Garcia, my photographer, and I got stuck. We didn't have a way to get out at one point. And that experience filled me with a lot of empathy for what people went through here today. So as I meet people, you know, they really want to connect. Everyone here wants to understand your fire story, right? And so I don't have the experience of losing my community or, God forbid, my loved one. But I do share an understanding of the trauma and then the aftermath of that trauma. You know, the stuff we just told you about with PTSD is very familiar to me. I've learned a lot about grief and what it takes to navigate it. And I had just this unbelievable moment about 200 feet that way. There's a house going up, and it belonged, it's the lot that belonged to Steve Bradley's grandmother, Colleen Riggs. So he and I actually came over here today. We've talked to him a bunch throughout our years of investigative reporting, and he saw the new house going up where his grandma's house was, and something clicked for him. It was hard to describe, but I just watched him attain this level of closure that he hadn't had in the last 5 years. And he very quickly was just overcome with joy. You know, it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. He could imagine somebody living happily in this place where the worst thing that happened to one of his family members in his whole life happened. His grandma couldn't make it out. The power went out that day. She wasn't able to open her garage door, so she burned in the house. And he has the space now to hold that truth. Yes, this happened. This happened. And also I'm alive, you know, and I get to move forward. And that really resonated for me. That's something I'm feeling too today. And I'm just so glad that I was able to come up here and spend some time with these folks. This place will always be a part of me, even though my first day setting foot here was the day it burned down. Alex?
Brandon, I know it's hard for you to not get emotional because you have truly dedicated years to covering fire after fire, meeting all the families destroyed by them. You have worked tirelessly to hold the powerful accountable. And I know that many people in our community appreciate you just taking the time to listen and get answers. So Brandon, thank you. And we'll see you back here soon. And our coverage does continue tonight at 7 on our streaming channel, ABC 10+. We will be looking back at the Camp Fire with our award-winning Fire Power Money reports, looking at the struggle to hold PG&E accountable for its role in starting the fire. The ABC 10+ app is available on Roku, Amazon, and Fire TV. Next, on To The Point, a ransomware attack impacting hundreds of thousands of Sutter Health patients. What Sutter Health wants you to know. Plus, the emotional plea to keep a sexually violent predator out of our local community.
Our mild weather is about to come to an end as we track big changes ahead for next week. Colder, wetter with snow.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods with our weather check. Cold and clear pretty much, right?
Oh, it's going to be a frosty start tomorrow morning, right? Our temperatures are going to be dropping into the 30s for the valley, teens for the Sierra. Some isolated icy spots on those mountain passes, and then snow expected next week. So we're about to turn things around to a much colder weather pattern. In the meantime, we have those northwest winds for today. They are starting to calm down. Unfortunately, for Southern California, it is going to elevate the fire danger. We've got clear skies overhead, so really not much in the way of active weather there. But again, a fire weather warning with a red flag warning in effect tomorrow throughout Southern California. Those dry winds, those Santa Ana winds really whipping around in SoCal tomorrow. Temperature trend, we've stayed right about average here the past couple of days, and actually a beautiful weekend on tap. Tonight, we're looking at rapidly cooling conditions. Look at that forecast low, 36 degrees. Our average low is about 44. Now, we've got some burn restrictions for tomorrow. Sacramento County burning is discouraged. Here's a look at the weather pattern and how it shifts. Over the weekend, we'll see periods of cloud cover, but all of the storms coming in just fizzle out. As we head into Monday evening, we start to see the first of our weather systems approaching. By Tuesday, opportunities for rain, snow for the Sierra, and it just keeps coming all the way through the week and the next weekend. Highs for tomorrow near 50 for the Sierra, near 60 down low for the foothills. Across the coast, we're in the 60s, and we'll take those 60s to near 70 inland as we start to edge towards the end of our work week with some cold morning lows. We're dry for the next 5 days region-wide. And then as we look at that 10-day forecast, you see the changes right there. Rain, cooler, and snow for the Sierra next week.
Next, on To the Point, a woman's plea to keep her alleged attacker, a sexually violent predator, off the streets.
Could you imagine walking into your local Walmart and seeing the man who attacked you?
New tonight, Sutter Health says one of its vendors was affected by a ransomware attack. They say an unauthorized user gained access and potentially took personal information from more than 845,000 patients back in May. Officials say Social Security numbers and financial information were not impacted by the incident. Sutter Health says all impacted patients should have received a letter that includes available services and resources to protect your information. Also new tonight, the Hollywood's Actors Union has reached a tentative deal with studios to end its strike after nearly 4 months. The 3-year contract agreement must be approved by the union's board and members in the coming days. For now, union leaders declared the strike will end at 12:01 a.m. on Thursday. Tonight, in an emotional plea, a woman who says that she survived a sexually violent predator's attack is fighting the possibility of him being released. Right now, David Berge is housed in a state hospital, but a court has recently ordered his release after 3 doctors found him to be suitable for treatment. Tonight, Roxana Leah shares the community's concerns.
I thought my journey ended over 30 years ago, and it has just began again.
Vernice Parra says she's a victim of David Berge. The sexually violent predator was convicted back in 1993 of sexual crimes with 2 separate minors and received an 8-year and 8-month prison sentence. After serving that time, the state deemed him a sexually violent predator in 1998. Now a court is ordering he be released in El Dorado County after doctors found him suitable for treatment in the community. On Wednesday, the first Public Housing Committee meeting was held to begin the process of finding and securing suitable housing for Berge. Parra tearfully explained why she doesn't believe him to be safely released in her community.
Could you imagine walking into your local Walmart and seeing the man who attacked you and watching him just smile as you walk by?
Others chimed in with tears in their eyes, including parents, grandparents, and residents who say they moved from the Bay Area to escape the crime.
While some of these things may sound like they would work in a more utopian society, that's certainly where we're not in modern day California.
Parra says she has lived a life sentence with what happened to her and is adamant she plans to be Berge's last victim and fight his release.
I stood here as a child, and now I stand here as a woman. He did not break me then, and he will not break me now.
No decisions have been made regarding a release date or location of release, and there will be another hearing, but it has not been scheduled yet. 4 California men have been convicted for their roles in the January 6th Capitol riot. Eric Warner, Felipe Martinez, Derek Kennison, and Ronald Millay were found guilty of conspiracy and obstruction. Prosecutors say the men were part of a 3%ers militia in Southern California. The movement refers to the myth that only 3% of Americans fought in the Revolutionary War against the British. Right now, 5 Republican presidential hopefuls are squaring off in Miami at the 3rd GOP debate. Former President Donald Trump once again declining to participate. His top rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, is still second to Trump in early polls, but Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador and former South Carolina governor, has been gaining momentum. Both are vying to be Trump's main challenger in the Iowa caucuses. Next, meet the dedicated man sending his retirement to a California museum. Tomorrow on To the Point at 6:30, a Sacramento man takes us on his mission to make sure that history does not repeat itself. He is dedicating his retirement to the California Museum, helping with the exhibit California's Uprooted. It's a powerful journey through the lives of Japanese American residents and their forced imprisonment during World War II.
I'd like to tell the story about, the camp life, the violation of our rights as a U.S. citizen. I'd like to end my story today is to be a good citizen, even if you're faced with adversity.
Watch the full story tomorrow right here on To The Point at 6:30. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are always working to bring you more context and information to issues impacting us right here in Northern California. So if there's something that you care about or you just want more information on, make sure you reach out to me and the team. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.